Hi, I'm Andy Kinder, and today you join me at a freezing cold, fabulous Hallcroft Fishery, when hopefully I'm going to show you how to catch a few fish right in the depths of winter, doing a bit of bomb fishing, single hook bait fishing we call it. Yeah, out in the main lake, hopefully for a few of the prize carp what's swimming around in here. And a lot of you people, I know you pack your gear away in winter, but it can be such a rewarding time for going out there and catching a few fish. You know, yes, it's horrible, yes, it's cold, and yeah, none of us like the cold, but like I say, you get a pull off one of them big carp on a freezing cold day, it can be really, really rewarding. And I must admit, I love it. It's one of my favourite styles of fishing, be it either bomb or method feeder in winter. And like I say, we're fishing here today at Hallcroft. I'm going to show you a few little tips. Like I say, it's bitterly cold here, -2 when we got here. Hopefully what's going to put you a few fish on the bank and turn, well, it's not saying average peg, but you know, an half decent peg into a match winning peg with a few little tips and tricks today. So right, no further ado, I'm going to get this out there and hopefully get dragged in. So let's get it out there. Right, so there we have it. There we have it. Now, for a start, first thing what you must do, like when you get down on the bank, you know, we've got 5 hours of a match. Now, 5 hours is a long time to be sat there if you're not like doled up to the eyes. You know, make sure you've got plenty of warm gear on. That's the main thing. Plenty of warm gear, because it's a patience game. Patience will catch you more fish, but it's all about working your peg and working out where potentially some fish might be in your peg. So make sure you've got plenty of gear on, wrapped up, you know, hands in pockets, because you ain't going to be getting a bite every minute through the day. You know, you might be sat waiting a long time for a bite. So to start with, make sure you're all wrapped up. So my plan of attack, I'm looking at an open lake like we've got here. Location, that's the key issue. The key issue is locating, and hopefully locating a few carp what might be in front of you. And I think we've all seen it in winter. Sometimes carp will give themselves away, they'll top, they'll crash over or whatever. That is always a telltale sign that there's a few fish in that area. So again, location is the key. So, you know, we've got his rod set here now, it's not going to get pulled in. We're out there, we can study the lake. We can like literally look at the lake and look for any signs of activity, you know, bubbles or fish topping and things like that. And that's one of the main things what I'm looking for. I'm looking out in that lake and I'm looking where I think there might be a carp. Another thing is line bites. You know, at times you can get lots and lots and lots of line bites through the day. Yes, you know they're on some fish. So again, look out for line bites, look out for things like that, and fish location. And then it's just a case of, yeah, we sit there, various baits. Bait wise, single hook bait fishing, obviously depending on what the fishery allows, but bread is a fantastic bait in winter. Also corn, I don't think I'd go anywhere without corn. Fantastic bait in winter, especially when the lakes are really, really clear. You know, single or double corn preferably is my favourite if I'm looking for a carp. The old slice of bread, you know, check it's allowed. It's not allowed at every venue, so where it's allowed, that will put you a few fish, be it popped up or even on the bottom. It's a dead easy meal for them. It's visible, it's an easy slurping. They all love bread. And another bait, definitely what I would always take if it's allowed, is meat. So nice sliced meat there, what I can punch a little piece out of and try it on the hook. You know, not allowed at every venue, but venues where it's allowed. I know you might think meat's a summer bait, but you know, sometimes if Mr. Carp's coming past or it's in your peg and it's looking at having a feed, a nice piece of punch meat will sometimes get you a bite. So it's just about having having them various hook bait options to try through your day to try and trick one of these wary carp onto hook. Right, so we've set it as peg, we've chucked it out there, and we're looking for that opportunist fish. We're trying to find these fish. You know, they could be literally anywhere within your peg. So, you know, it's not about casting down the same line all day. It's about casting to various points of your swim, fish location like I was saying. But one other thing I always will do is somewhere in my peg I will feed a little bit of bait. And when I mean a little bit, I mean a little bit. And it might, here we go. There we go. So yeah, I would feed a little bit of bait. That's kited well down lake. Because even though it is winter, at some point these fish might just want to feed. They might want just to have a little peck, just to have a little feed, and by putting a little bit of bait somewhere in your peg, as long as it's, you know, away from a main area or somewhere where you can cast to quite easily, it can be just that extra trap what gets you them 3 or 4 extra fish. Yeah, there might be times when you don't get a bite over it, but you know, I always like to feed a little bit of bait. Me always gives you that opportunity. But because you're fishing a bomb, you've got that option of throwing past it, to the left of it, to the right of it, 3/4 way across lake. You know, you can literally go anywhere. So your baited area might not be very good for 4 hours of your match, and then all of a sudden, you know what it's like. It can be carp o'clock. As soon as that sun starts going down, depths of winter, they can suddenly have a feed just for half an hour. And you know, if they're really big fish, half an hour, 3 or 4 pulls, you can have 30 or 40 pound quite easily. So we have got one on this. And again, I was looking round the lake. I'd already had a couple of chucks and I seen a few bubbles. And we got one. Even though we still, like I say, we are in the depths of winter, they still fight, these fish. When we've got this in, I'll explain to you my gear I'm using, hooks, line, and everything, because I think you'll be quite shocked when I tell you what gear I've got on. Let's get this one out first, hopefully, because where there's one, there's always another. We've done hard bait, we've got it on, we've had the bite, so take your time, it'll be a big fish. Here we go. Oh. There we go. What a fantastic winter carp to be have. First of many, let's hope. So let's put him in the net. Let's get back out there, see if we can catch another one. Right, so before I get back out there, let me just give you a quick run through of the gear I'm actually using today. Right, to start with, 10-foot rod. It's actually a prototype which I'm using today, and I must say they are absolutely fantastic. It's a nice 10-foot through action, parabolic action rod in a 10-foot. Like I said, I'm playing with them at the minute. Hopefully they're going to be available some point next, certainly late spring to early summer, but very, very nice and lovely for this game, lovely for bomb fishing and playing carp. So I'm quite impressed with that. In fact, I don't think I'm going to send them back. They're that good. So that's the rod. Reel wise, it's the MVR commercial power feeder reel, 4,500 size. I like a big reel. It's got plenty of winding power, big spool on it, really, really good. Mainline, don't have to really say anymore. It's the MVR carp feeder mono 024. I want a mainline that's certainly not going to let me down. I use it for my bomb fishing, I use it for my feeder fishing. Really, really strong, really robust. Plenty abrasive resistance on it as well, which is what I want. Bomb wise, a 10 or a 15 gram inline bomb. It's one of the old inline bombs what we used to do, but just watch this space, some new bombs coming very, very shortly. So inline bomb there. And hook length wise, like I say, might shock you this, I take no prisoners even in winter. That's a 020 MVR rig mono to a size 12 power air rig hook. And you can see I've got a piece of meat on there. I'm gonna have a chuck with me. I had that last one on meat, so yeah, straight in with it, piece of meat on that. But yeah, 020, you know, the fish in here are big. They are big fish. They can go up to 20 pound. And the last thing I want to be doing is getting a bite off one and it breaking me. Yes, I could fish finer. Would it get me no bite? Would it get me more bites? No, I don't think it would. It's actually laid on the bottom. So if I get one on, the last thing I want to be doing is it getting cracked off. But if I'm not watching the tip because I'm looking around the lake and I'm looking to try and see any fish what's potentially out there, I don't want it to break. So there we go. There we have it. There's my setup. So let's get him out there and see if we can sneak another one. Right, so we're out there. Stopwatch. Really, really important piece of kit, I think, for any type of feeder fishing or bomb fishing. So, you know, I'm going to have a chuck with my bomb, start my stopwatch. You know, I might want to sit there 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but you'll generally notice a pattern, especially with bomb fishing, because, you know, I think sometimes you don't have to sit a long time in one area to get a bite. If you haven't had a bite, we normally win 4 or 5 minutes. Sometimes it can be 10, you know, I would leave it in up to 10 minutes, but if there's a few fish in the area, you generally get a bite quite quickly. So by having a stopwatch, it gives me that little telltale sign when I need to recast or when I want to look for a new place. So stopwatch. And like I've said, I am going to feed an area in my peg, and I was saying it just before I caught that last fish. I'm literally feeding 5 or 6 pellets. 5 or 6 pellets. You can see them. There they are in my catapult, look. 5 and 6 pellets. And that's it. 5 or 6 pellets every 10 minutes, so there's at least a few pellets going in an area if them fish want to feed sometime during the day. I can cast on it, but I've got that option of casting literally anywhere around them pellets and looking for any signs of fish anywhere. And now it's just a case of keeping warm, hands in pockets, waiting for that bite. Bites are so easy to spot winter time, especially like we're saying here with single hook baits such as meat and corn and bread and things like that. You know, the bite is a really, really good bite. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it is. I think it's more a shock factor, really, more than anything else, that it's picked a bit of food up off bottom and it's like, oh, that's on, oh, and round it goes. So the bites inevitably are proper rod draggers. So be very, very watchful of that. Yeah, watch your rod, which is why make sure front rest, back rest, you know, your rod can't get pulled in, even if you're not watching it and you're not paying attention, because you know you can literally just suddenly get a bite out of blue. It's just like no indications, no lines, and suddenly it's like sets off and away you go. So you know, be very watchful of that. But yeah, the most important thing, like I said, just keep an eye on the lake. Look for any telltale signs where you might think there might be a fish, or any fish topping, or any bubbling, things like that. It's so important. Location is so much a key this time of year, more important probably than having the right gear or the right bait or whatever. You know, if you can find them, you can catch them. If they're there, it's easy. You were never going to encourage fish into your peg at this time of year, but just by keeping an eye out on the water and looking for any signs of fish, that'll get you them extra bites that you might need. Then it's a case keeping warm, odd mug of tea, just keep winching a carp in occasionally. Well, there we are. Big liner then, like, so we know there's one or two in area, but it's exactly like I said right at the very start of this. It's not all about casting in the same spot all day. You might have to go around looking for these fish, you know. In winter, I'm telling you now, guys, you know, you could chuck it into one spot and then chuck 2 meters or a meter to your right and catch one. Chuck a meter to your left, catch one. Chuck 2 meters further out and catch one. And you could chuck in the one particular spot and not get a bite, and a meter away you're gonna get bites. So never be afraid of that random casting, especially with a bomb. It's not as if you're putting bait all over the place. You've got a single hook bait. It's one hook bait. It's like, you know, it's like chucking a penny into Trevi Fountain. It's one hook bait. But if there's a carp in that area and it wants to eat it, you will catch it. So, you know, you've got to find it. All boils down to location, but, you know, never be afraid of looking round and casting. Obviously, don't cast in anybody else's peg. That's the last thing you can do. But, you know, look for the fish. There will be an area somewhere where you're going to get one. Line bites, like I said, that's the key. So, yeah, look round for these fish, and rewards pay dividends. Well, we had that one carp, no more bites, so I've changed areas. I've gone to another place, chucked further away from where I caught that first fish, and away from the bait where I put it in, and yeah, straight away we've had a few indications, we've had a few line bites. I'm still on a big piece of meat, big piece of punch meat, but I think what we might do this time is there's obviously there's a few in the area where I've chucked it because I have had indications. So I think for this next cast we're going to put some bread on out there, really visible bread. It's a great bait in winter for catching carp. So I think this next cast we're going to put 3 discs of bread on, chuck that out there, and see whether that gets us a bite. In fact, I think we'll do it right now. It's been in 5 minutes, that. Oh, let's wind that in. Let's put this bread on. Now, I know you're going to say to me, and I get it asked a million times about bread, how far did you pop it up? How far did you pop it up? Was it sinking? Whatever. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys out there. I think the majority of times when we fish bread, it actually sinks. Now you can see I've got 3 discs on there, and I have slightly compressed them in the punch. If that's the case, that bread is going to sink. It might pop up out there, we don't know. But if you're wanting a bread to pop up, you've got to singly punch it and then put it onto your hair. If you do it compressed like that, it is going to sink. But you'll notice quite a long hair on that. And I think them fish take it off the bottom anyway, so. It's definitely the $64,000 question when it comes to bread, whether it floats or sinks or whatever. And like I say, I think the majority of the time it's sinking. But here we go, that be on. What a lovely bite that were. See, the change from having a piece of meat on, we had them liners, we had them indications, we've put a piece of bread on. Oh, nearly got attacked with a duck there. We've put a piece of bread on and we've had a pull straight away. One thing I will say to you guys, when you know, if you're fishing bread, sometimes the bites are not as ferocious, not quite as savage on bread. Sometimes they'll pick it up. You get a lot of drop back bites on bread for some reason, or you'll just find that they'll pick the bait up and just swim off with it, and the rod will just keep going round. This one was, well, that was the perfect bite to get on bread. It's picked it up, don't realise it sucked, and it's just swam off and the rod's just gone. Like that, and carried on going. It's checkers time. We've done hardest bit's getting a bite this time of year, this weather, because trust me, you can't believe how cold it is. Clutch is set. Even though I am fishing that 020, you know, one violent head shake, will still break this hook length. He's tangled up in it, but we'll have him. There he is. Beautiful. There he is, look. Another bread caught carp, depths of winter. What more could you ask for? Let's put him in. God, it's cold. Oh. You dry my hands. Still searching around pegs, still casting, still looking around for these fish. But I've still got that baited area where I can still cast to. I think the other problem you have, guys, it's definitely a lot better in matches. You know, we're sat here today on a cold day. There's only 2 or 3 anglers on the lake today, and them fish can completely just get out of the way from you. You know, they don't want to be anywhere near you. You know, bankside disturbance they don't like, especially winter time. And if them fish want to go away, you know, who's to say they're not going to drift right down there or right up there, and you know, we're never going to catch them. But when there's a match in and we peg for peg, them fish start to move around the lake and things like that. So you know, that does make the fish move about. And pleasure fishing sometimes, or you know, just like we are today, nobody else on the bank, them fish can just get a million miles away from you and you're never going to find them. But match wise, again, is all about location. But you know, there's loads of places in your peg to try and find them. And when you find them, like I say, happy days, happy days. Oh. Definitely a cold all day when you catch a fish, but definitely rewarding. But let's get the man's back in pocket, stopwatch has started, wait for another bite. We don't get a bite there, we move areas, chuck to another place, keep finding them. Well guys, certainly not been an easy day. God, do I pick them, do I pick days? Certainly not been an easy day, but yeah, we're still searching, we're still looking around, we're still trying to snare an odd one, and I think this is really important in winter. You know, it's really important winter time, as it is in summer, but definitely in winter. Speaking to you know, some of my carp friends who carp fish and fish for big carp, there will be some type of a window of opportunity that opens. There'll be a feeding spell, a feeding time when potentially a few fish want to feed, and you know, that can happen right at the beginning of the match. Oh, here we go, look, that's it. There'll be that window of opportunity that opens when you have to take full advantage of it. You have to take full advantage of it. And you know, size at fish, you don't need many bites. This one's trying to go at cafe, I think. But that just proved exactly what I was saying, in the fact that we've had to look round for these fish. We've seen a few bubbles, we've seen a few signs, and we've had a cast to them. Gone over my bait, no signs. No signs. So it's a case of just looking round and trying to find them. Winter can be evil, guys. It can be an absolute killer. But it can also be so rewarding if you get it right and if you do it right. And you pick up on the, you know, these little things I've told you, like looking for, you know, we could have sat here all day and possibly chucked straight out there, chucked a load of bait in, caught nothing, and thought there weren't ever a fish in front of us. But there is, you know. It's like a lot of commercials, there's always fish in front of you. You've just got to be cute to catch them. You've just got to do it a little bit better than everybody else. There's days when you won't catch them, and when you won't catch them, it's when they don't want to feed. But just be being patient. Lovely bite, that absolute first class bite. good job it is calm today, because I don't think we'd have found these fish, to be fair. It's definitely a plodder. These rods are absolutely superb for this game. Like I say, take your time. I know we've, like I said, we're fishing every year. It's every year. But we've done the hardest thing to big in this. Oh yeah, bless you. It's a big old girl, this one. These are the fish that win your matches. What are they saying, darts? Trebles for show, doubles for dough. It's doubles for dough in our game, mate, that's what it is. And this is every bit double figures. Still got some fight in them for winter, they really have. Jeez. He's coming. He's moving a fair bit of water out there. Oh, here he is, look, here he is. Come to Andrew. Oh, look at that. Oh, that is what's commonly known as a shuffler, and a shuffler means you've got to shuffle them just to get them into the net. And when I pull this thing out of the water, I think I might get a double hernia, I think, because he is an absolute beast. So ooh. We all like a big one though, don't we? Perfectly hooked, bottom lip. There we go. Look at him. 15 pounder in the net. Freezing cold day. I can't hold him up, he's that heavy. I'll put him in my net, but yeah. And that's what it's all about, guys. Well guys, I think I'm going to call it a day at that. To finish with a fish like that, like I say, every bit 15 pound. It's absolutely soaked me through. And yeah, I can hardly feel my hands. Look at my hands are really, really cold. But you know, let's do a little bit of a recap on today. You know, we've ended up with half a dozen fish, and yeah, that one personally I think was the jewel in the crown for today, because yeah, it's come hard. We've had to go searching for it, and we've seen some fish bubbling and blowing, and that's where it come from. So you know, the name of the game in winter, make sure you're warm, patience. Patience is the key to catching fish and working your peg. Working your peg. Single hook bait fishing, people think it's just about chucking and chancing and whatever. Yes, there is a little bit of chuck and chance about it, but the best anglers always catch fish when it comes to single hook bait fishing and bomb fishing and things like that. And why do they catch more? Because they think about it. They think exactly where they're casting. They've got the next move planned. They've got the baits right, be it bread, be it bomb, be it bread, be it corn, be it meat, things like that. There's not to stop you putting a wafter on at times if you think that's right. You know, just a single hook bait, what that carp, because there's no carp wanting to feed really in these cold, bitterly cold conditions what we've got. But if you put a bait in front of them, they'll take it. Just like us when we're walking past a buffet, when we've been at a party, we might not be hungry, but we go up and pick it up, and that's exactly what the carp are like. So when they want to feed, put a bait in front of it and you'll catch it. So there we go, guys. I hope you've learnt a little bit from today. I'm now going to pack up. I'm going to have a cup of tea because I'm freezing to death. Hopefully you'll put a few of the tips what I've given you today into action. Get out there in winter. It's so rewarding, especially when you catch something like that one that I've just caught, and catch a few fish through winter. So until next time, tight lines, and we'll see you on the bank.